Hey guys, my name is Danae and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for anybody who's been following me, which hopefully you have, you know that I haven't been doing these personal videos because I recently started my own talk show called The Weekly Read. So if you haven't seen any of those videos yet, please head over to my channel and check them out as soon as this video is over. But the reason that I decided that I was going to take a small little break from my talk show to do a personal video is because I feel like something really cool happened to me and I wanted to share it with you guys. I hope you guys think it's cool too. So anyway, I guess I should probably tell you what the thing is. I did like a 42-hour fast and it was really amazing. So this video is all about why I did it, how long I did it, what I cut out, what I learned, the process, all that great stuff. It was about a week ago and I was on Twitter and I had seen somebody tweet that we should do a fast with the new moon. And I was like, that's interesting. And I had never done a fast before. I had only given up, you know, certain things for Lent, but I had never completely restricted my food intake. So obviously I toyed around with the idea for a week or a couple days and I was like, well, maybe I do it, maybe I don't. I wasn't sure. And then one day I was just like, you know what, go for it, because something in me compelled me to do it. Like there was a spirit in me that said, Danae, just do it and see what happens. The fast was from sundown September 8th to sunrise September 10th. So my brother had a football game September 8th. He plays for Temple. And because the game was so late in the day, I had to grab a bite to eat there or else I was going to go way longer without food than I had anticipated, and that wasn't like an option. So I got this like really shitty personal pizza that was like horrible. I couldn't even finish it, but that was the last thing I had before I started my fast. And just to clear it up, the fast was no food, but I could drink water, tea, and juice. I don't drink juice, so water and tea. And yeah, so the first day wasn't terrible, obviously, because our bodies are used to taking breaks from eating food. So the first couple hours after I really started weren't terrible. Came home, took a nap. I did start to get hungry around like 10 o'clock, but I just drank a whole bunch of water and I prayed. Because praying is something that you're supposed to do during fasting, or else what is it really for? And I worked really hard, and at that moment I was like, you know what, I'm not just going to give up food, I'm also going to give up my phone, social media, the internet, TV, and all of it. Now I will say that I did have family power hour with my my mom and dad, because we do that every week, and I did watch Insecure with my mom because those are things that we do, but I didn't consider it a break and fast because I did that and then I completely left. And you know, when I use social media, it was only to promote my talk show, which again, you should go watch. I didn't feel compelled to touch my phone at all. After I turned it off, it was off. You know, after I posted for my show, it was I didn't touch it and I didn't feel the need or the desire to. That being said, the first couple hours weren't difficult. I started to get a little hungry, but it wasn't terrible. I worked and then I went to bed, but not before I prayed. So that first night I probably prayed and meditated the most, or at least for the most amount of time. I did a guided meditation and I prayed for a little. So then the next day, the 9th, that was obviously the whole full day with no food, and that was pretty crazy. I started to get dizzy a little bit around like 12 o'clock, but it wasn't like, it was a weird feeling. Like I didn't feel horrible, and I swear to goodness I felt God. I was standing in my house, and out of nowhere there was just like this cold rush of air, and I was like, God, is that you? Anyway, so right after that is when I had my experience, and I looked in the mirror and I said, Danae, like, what do you really want from life? Like, you know what you want, but what do you really want? And I stared at myself, and after thinking about it for a little bit, I prayed for clarity. Again, praying is something that I did a lot during that time period. So I prayed for clarity, and then I went about my day. So I finished working, and again, like I said, I did use social media and stuff like that for business. So business or growth. So I didn't go on any social media or anything, but I did watch, lately I've been, because I want to be a talk show host, I've been studying Oprah, and I've been watching her interviews. She's a huge inspiration of mine. She's the reason that I want to do what I do, since I was like 9 years old. So I have been watching her videos, kind of learning her technique, how she asks questions, how she phrases questions, how intently she looks at her guests, and just all of it. So that moment for me was about work. So again, that's all I did during that time, but other than that, I wasn't on my phone. If there was TV was on in a room, I would walk out and come upstairs. Throughout the day, the whole like idea of like, Danae, what do you want, kept coming up in my mind, and like suddenly something clicked, and I was like, you need to start your podcast. Something that I've been saying that I was going to do for a long time, but I'm finally going to do it. And you know, it came from that time period of just like having nothing to do, but focus on my goals and my future and myself. So I created the cover art. It's going to be called The Weekly Read, but it's going to be a podcast. The look is completely different than my talk show, so I'm so excited to premiere that. But I worked on getting that in the motion and putting that in play during that time period, which I don't know if I would have otherwise done, because it's so easy to be distracted by things regardless of whether you're enjoying it or not. Like I said, the 9th was pretty hard. That was a day with no food, so at one point I did get a cup of tea just to try to fill me up, and I drank so much water. And yeah, so it was about like maybe 11 o'clock when I was like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I ended up staying up and watching another Oprah interview. And I also prayed, because again, praying is so important during a time of fasting. I learned something from it. I took something from it. It was an Oprah and India Arie interview, and she had said, the universe will rise up and meet you where you're at. And that you have to be responsible for your own life. And I've heard that so many times before, but yesterday when I heard it, I was just like, wow. Right before bed, I felt like my stomach was touching my back, but again, I just prayed through it, and I promise you, prayers during a fast are unlike any other prayers that you'll ever say in your whole entire life. I prayed for mental strength. I prayed for just so many things that I pray for on, you know, the daily, but it just, everything just flowed so naturally. I really felt God's presence. I felt connected. I felt spiritually connected, and I haven't felt like that in a long time. So that was great for me, and just, you know, I'm a huge believer in manifesting, and I felt like I haven't really been able to reach that point in myself and in my intuition and in my spirit lately, and I think that has also transformed in that way. So yeah, so I went to bed, and I had the craziest, wildest dreams ever. I don't know if it was the hunger, I don't know if it was like, I don't know what it was. So that was cool. I'm like a huge dream person. But I woke up this morning around like 7 something, and I checked my phone because I had turned my phone off, and I turned it on, and I was like, it's, you know, it's past sunrise, and I am starving, and I want to go eat. But the crazy thing about it was like I was starving, but I wasn't fixated on food. I was eating because I felt like I should, but not because I had to. And that was weird, because even like trying to eat after a fast, even for only 42-hour period, you have such a hard time. Like you're nauseous. It's so weird. I was, like I said, eating because I felt like I needed to. But like I didn't really care if I did or didn't, but I knew that if I didn't, I would probably like KO. Anyway, so I had breakfast from 2 days before because I couldn't eat it the day of. And yeah, I just remember like feeling very nauseous and kind of like not really wanting to eat it. So I had to take it slow. I ate some grapes, and I had like some skimpy ass French toast, and some water. And then I went about my day. I just feel so good. You know, my mom even said, like, your spirit today is just so vibrant. Like, I love the mood that you're in. even like when I was doing my fast, my parents were like, "You're in a really good mood." I'm surprised because I swear you'd be hungry. And I was, but I wasn't focused on that. I wasn't focused on hunger. I was focused on how mentally strong I felt, you know, because a lot of things in life is all about how strong are you mentally. And this was, I feel like, the first time that I really tested myself in that way, because there's food all in my house. My dad had bought me food. There was dinner on the stove. There was dinner in our pantry. I mean, food in our pantry. There was food everywhere. I had my car. I could go and get food if I wanted to, but nothing made me feel like I really wanted to give up my fast. And that spoke a lot to me. And so that would definitely be one of the things that I learned, is that fasting really does bring you closer to God, closer to your spirituality. I just feel good. I feel like a joy. I feel renewed. I feel spiritual. I feel whole. I feel so many things, and I'm not going to keep rambling, but I feel amazing. And I'm just so happy I had this experience. And one of the things that I really thought about was about how fortunate and blessed I am to even be able to take part in a fast. You know, because fasting is a privilege. At the end of the day, it made me recognize the privilege that I have to be able to say, I'm not going to eat for about 42 to 48 hours. But I know that once I go downstairs, there's going to be food waiting for me. And you know, I don't take anything in life for granted. I really don't. I'm like one of the most like grateful people in the world. For just the smallest shit makes me so happy. But sometimes you just get so wrapped up that you don't think about how blessed you really are. And for me, just that was the craziest realization, like fasting is a privilege. I was able to go downstairs this morning and heat up my food from a couple days ago, or get a bottle of water, clean water, or take a snack to work if I got hungry, or have this snack that my dad got me while I was fasting. I knew that I was able to have it after the fact. And it just really made me think about how many people don't have that opportunity or that option. And I think that did a lot for me too. You know, I'm like one of those people, when I see a homeless person, I always give them money or food if I have it. But it just really made me like, you know, I just do it so like, I'm thinklessly. I don't even know if that's a word, but I don't really think about it. But like, there was something about it that I was just like, I am so blessed and so happy to be alive, and I'm so fortunate. And just so grateful, you know. I feel like a new person in a way. Like I said, I know it's only been a couple days, but I'm really not being dramatic this time, guys. I'm really not. I feel like a new person. So again, if you are considering a fast, first, research. Do your research. Like anything, before you do it, you should do your research. But I really would recommend it, even if it's just the one-time thing. I think I'm probably going to do it again next month, and probably do a social media-less, phone-less day on Sundays, because I just felt so cleansed. But if you are considering doing a fast, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I feel amazing, and yeah. So, I say all that to say, my fast was great. I feel great. I feel happy. I just feel so filled with joy, and I feel like I have reconnected with God and my spirituality. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys got something out of it. I know I got something out of it. I love you guys so much. And make sure you check out my talk show, The Weekly Read.